Hello, and thank you for watching and listening to another episode of Unmedicated and Educated with Keita Rose. I'm Keita Rose, and here we deep dive, dissect, and sometimes diagnose. Because it seems everyone, including myself, I am never excluded, has lost their damn minds. If you are new here, thank you so much for giving me a try. If you're an OG, then you already know what the fuck is going on. Like, share, subscribe, talk shit. In my comments, tell me how you really feel. And I'm going to tell you guys how I really feel about season 7, episode 5 of Before the 90 Days. This episode is called A Whole New World. And baby, I wanted to go and buy a first class plane ticket to a whole new world because I couldn't believe that some of the intergalactical that we call humans exist on this one, okay? I don't want to be nowhere where these people are, and I'm glad that they took it over there to the Philippines and not here, okay? Not in good old America.
Thus it is time for
Reality Recap.
So the episode starts with Loren and Faith. Now remember, Loren felt a little bit itchy down there, a little bit pussy down there, a little bit bumpy down there. He receives a text message from one of his friends who let him know that she has gonorrhea of her throat. Okay, all that stuff that's down there in the genitalia that's bubbling up at night, that's keeping you from focusing on your job, that's making you do the I got a itchy chitchy dance. Okay, that's going on in her throat. So she texts Loren to let him know, and he says he's the nastiest person. I think he cuts it, right? So we had before the 90 days before, when I used to do the recaps, we talked about Kyle, and we called him Vile Kyle because he was disgusting. He was nasty. He was the one that was going all around the world impregnating women because he couldn't get Poochie Nanny anywhere else. So he had to prey on desperate women who were desperate to reproduce, right? And so he would go to them. He wouldn't charge at all, but he would have sex with them unprotected. That's how he would get his rocks off. This man is just pitiful because at least Kyle had a side hustle. Loren is homeless. Loren is broke. Loren has nothing but gonorrhea and broken dreams, okay? So he feels a little bit relieved to get this information because he's like, well, that would explain the gunk that was coming out of my penis. And it's wild because for the past week, he's been pressuring Faith over the phone. Like, we really need to, get intimate. Like, we only have 20 days. Sexual compatibility is really important to me. So I really want to know, like, if you can put it down, if I can put it down. I want to see your lady boy bits. But why is you worried about anybody's lady boy bits when your boy bits are burning? That boy pussy is burning, Loren. So Faith has the date planned. She really wants to get intimate with Loren, so he doesn't want to tell her before the date to ruin it, so he wants to tell her after, which leads me to have a question, you guys. If you had some really bad news to tell your partner, but you knew that they had already planned an amazing date, would you tell your partner beforehand, like before they even get excited or have fun or get in a really good mood, or would you tell them after? I think a lot of people say things like, well, don't tell them before because it's gonna ruin everything, but honestly, if you just had me have the time of my damn life, I mean, I am smiling, I am laughing, I am more in love with you than I ever have been. I don't want to be knocked off that horse with some terrible news of you possibly having HIV of the lips. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if I want to hear that then. I think I would rather you just tell me beforehand, and then whatever we decide to do, we can just do it, or you can go on about your day and I can continue on and have a good time. But what do you guys think below? Would you rather hear bad news prior to an amazing date or after an amazing date? Let me know. So they go to a place called the Wawa, and it is gorgeous. They swim, and Faith tells us that she feels the most feminine when she's in the water. Her hair is flowing, she's moving gracefully, and she's just having the time of her life. Loren's having a good time too. He doesn't deserve to have fun, in my opinion. When Nicki Minaj said broke people don't deserve to laugh, I really did understand. I know a lot of people laughed and was like, oh, she's crazy. No, I get it. What are you laughing for? What the hell is funny about your situation? Let me know. That's like the people that go to the club and they say they don't have any money. What are you celebrating? Is it a birthday? Is it an anniversary of employment? What are you laughing for? What are you happy about? So Loren is like, well, this was a really nice date, once they're wrapping up. And he's like, don't you want to kiss? And she's like, well, maybe. And he's like,
well, we can't. Because I have gonorrhea. I sleep with a lot of women and we do a lot of nasty things unprotected. So I can't kiss you, let alone sleep with you. Just deal with it, baby.
And I'm like, like, what way to break the news to somebody. So Faith is heartbroken. You can tell that she just really didn't expect this news. She keeps telling us, she keeps telling him, she keeps telling the producer, she keeps telling everybody. I am shocked. I am shocked. I can't believe this. I thought that we were monogamous. And he's like, well, you never really asked. And she's like, yeah, I didn't ask because I assumed I trusted you. I thought that would be some information that you would relay, right? Hey, I'm sleeping with other people. I think you should know that. Because when you get into a relationship, especially when both of you have expressed that you guys like being monogamous, it's implied that we're being monogamous, right? Unless we do some shit and I tell you that I got a thing for partners, other women, animals, let me know, right? You got some shit going on, some freaky stuff you like to do, let me know up front. Let me know during the first date. I want to know what level freak you are. We talking about you just like the diddle or you full-blown ditty? I want to know, and I want to know quickly. So he's like, well, you had to have known, right? Like I told you I was spending the night at people's houses. Yeah, you told me you were spending the night over your friend's house. You never said that you guys were getting down and dirty. Most people don't have sex with their friends. That's why you need to stop labeling people you have sex with as friends. They're not friends. That's actually the opposite of being friends, right? Platonic friends. And so Faith wants to go home. She doesn't say anything in the cab ride. She takes him up to his hotel and she lets him know that she needs a couple of days. She's gonna need time. And he understands. And then with this nasty, ugly, disgusting, creepy, freaky, weirdo, psycho, serial killer, sociopath look on his face, he smiles and he's like,
Guess she's about to break up with me.
are you happy you lost your only chance at a home? Because even after you told this woman that you were homeless, she decided to still love you for you, which I'd like to argue that you being homeless and broke ain't got nothing to do with your character. But then again, now that I think about it, being poor is a mindset. But I believe that the only reason he let her know was because if he would have given her gonorrhea after she was like a virgin and told him how much sex means to her, the whole world would have thought he was a monster, in which we already think. Loren straight up asked, like, you got AIDS? Like, period. You got AIDS? Because in, the Philippines, in Manila, we don't really play with all these different STDs like all of, like the people in America. Oh, it's nothing. It's chlamydia. Oh, it's gonorrhea. Oh, it's no, miss. Oh, it's herpes 1. No, I got herpes 2. No, we all have herpes 3. It's not like that in Philippines. They want if you itching and burning, AIDS. You good? You have HIV? Let me know right now. And so Loren had to kind of explain to Faith the difference in how he didn't have that. He had one of his cousins. Okay. So then we go on to Niles and Matilda. So Niles is getting ready to meet Matilda, the love of his life. And Matilda has let her family know that he's autistic. In Ghana, they don't really understand that. Is he high functioning? Can he do things by himself? Is he a little slow? Is he a little off? These are the questions that genuinely Matilda's family wants to know. They weren't rude about it at all. They weren't joking, but they really just did. They were confused. America has a lot more information than other countries about, mental health, mental illness, about disorders, learning disorders, about STDs, social media, different types of money and different things that we do over here. So it's not alarming that people in Ghana would be a little bit taken back when she says, I'm going to date and marry an autistic man. So I found out, y'all, what neurodivergent meant. So sorry. So the term neurodivergent describes people whose brain differences affect how their brain works. That means they have different strengths and challenges from people whose brain don't have those differences. So that pretty much describes a lot of people, because I know a lot of people that say that they're fine, they're normal, and they gotta, okay? There are a couple wires loose, okay? If you get what I'm saying. The possible differences include medical disorders, learning disabilities, and other conditions, right? So I'm gonna assume mental illnesses and different things like that. So that is neurodivergent, and that is Niles. So Niles' family, rightfully so, is scared because he's never traveled ever without one of his family members, not even gone to the airport, nothing without one of his family members. And so they're really nervous. Plus they think that she's gonna take advantage of him. Now, he's already proposed over the phone, when they were flirting, a little light, I want to marry you, a little light, I'm going to be with you for the rest of my life, a little bit of that. On top of probably some phone sex, but they feel like he's gonna get down there and the whole family is going to rush and push and prod and make him make this decision. Now, in Ghana, they have to pay like some type of permission fee, right? The husband has to pay some large bounty of animals or resources, snacks, gifts, whatever, money, milk, hay, whatever, to the family to basically trade off the daughter for the goods. goods. Even in Ghana, it's a business. Marriage is a business, people. Marriage is a business. And so the good news is that even if the family or Matilda did push Niles and make him feel uncomfortable, he doesn't have the amount of money or things needed in order to buy her anyway. So look at it on the bright side. So then we go on to Brian and Ingrid. If you remember, Ingrid found out a lot about Brian. She found out that he's not that independent, or maybe he is, but he's just telling people that he's not in order for them to do things for him, or in order for him to be able to gauge their attitude towards the disabled, right? And so she found out that he was an ex-drug dealer and that his ex-wife might have put a hit out on him, a hit that caused him to be paralyzed. She also found out that he was in his 50s and not his early 40s. There's a lot of things about Brian that Ingrid found out that kind of turned her off. And Brian, instead of saying, well, I can understand all of the things that I've unveiled to her came as a surprise, so I'm going to give her some time to process it. Instead of saying that, Brian said,
I feel like she's showing a little bit of a lack of compassion. She's being a little bit selfish and she doesn't care about me.
And right then I knew. I already knew, but I wanted something to happen during the show to validate my feelings and opinions. I knew that Brian was one of those people that were going to take his disability or take the things that have gone along in his life and push it on people and use it against people to gain sympathy. And when that happens, it's a never-ending cycle of bullshit, people. It's a never-ending cycle of bullshit. It could be anything. He could lie about anything. He could manipulate. He could do something wrong. And then if you try to confront him with any of this, it'll be the same, I lost my use of my legs and I can't do anything and all this stuff happened to me and I lost the person I used to be and I'll never gain that person back. And it's like, what does that have to do with you cheating? What does you losing the use of your legs have to do with you rolling over to Bethany's house and dropping off that disabled D? What does it have to do with it, Brian? That didn't happen, but I'm just giving you an example of people that play the victim all the time and they need sympathy and they feed off sympathy. Those type of people will always try to make you feel bad, and something wrong is going to always happen in their life. Monday, it'll be their grandmother is sick. Tuesday, the grandmother went to the ICU. Wednesday, the grandmother died, but not to worry, the grandfather is sick now. So, and then they're sick, and then their condom bag for their, for the poop and the pee won't work, and now you have to fix that. And they didn't like how you looked when you were fixing the stomach bag because you smelled something and that made them insecure, and you should change your face when you're changing the bag out. And it's like, oh no. Heavens no. I would never subject myself to that amount of scrutiny, pain, irritation ever. It just doesn't seem worth it. The love doesn't seem worth it. And so Ingrid needs a little bit of time. They roll out of bed. No pun intended. They roll out of bed. And so Brian wants to take her to go get ice cream. Now remember, they've came up with some type of agreement to where one day she'll spend with Brian, the other day she'll spend with her son because she is a single mom. And so today is the day that Ingrid's going to spend some time with her child. And Brian was supposed to meet her son, but with all the lies and everything that she's experienced the night before, she thinks it's best that she just goes ahead and does that by herself. So before doing that, he takes her to have this awkward date, getting ice cream, in which he tells her how bad he felt when she made him feel bad. And she apologizes.
She apologizes.
I'd have looked right at that man and said, you lied about everything you were. I don't got shit to say to you, and I'm not sorry for nothing. You can kiss my ass. Goodbye. That's what I would have said. And did you get me extra sprinkles, Brian? Shit, pissing me off. I don't think Ingrid likes him, but I think that it becomes really difficult when you are dating somebody disabled to say, like, I don't want to be with you anymore, because immediately, especially if they're one of those victim mentality having people, they'll say things like, it's because of my disability, isn't it? It's because you can't see yourself with somebody in a wheelchair, right? And it's like, no, I had no problem seeing myself with you for the past, I don't know how many years. I don't want to be with a liar. I don't want to be with a manipulator. I don't want to be with somebody who plays the victim all the time. That's who I don't want to be with. It has nothing to do with your disability. So then we go on to Chidi and Renee. They're in the botanical garden. If you can remember, Renee acted a fool earlier when they were going to go buy chicken for a dinner, pissed the sister right off and made the sister concerned because Renee has an anger issue, and now she's trusting her blind brother that doesn't know this woman to be alone with somebody who freaks out about the culture and about certain customs that the culture has. No. And so they're at the botanical garden. Chidi, one thing about Chidi is he always says some really sweet things and really like poetic and philosophical things. So he's like, my love, my princess. The gaze in your eyes, even though I cannot see it, fills up my heart with butterflies and it flutters around at the thought of us to being together forever or something like that. And Renee's like, yeah. So I understand you don't want to have sex with me because if you can also remember, Chidi told her last time that he doesn't want to have sex because of their faith. But she's like, don't you think that was a little unfair when we first started talking on the phone and started FaceTiming? We were always having phone sex and being very intimate with one another and talking about how we can't wait to experience that with each other. And now you feel differently. Don't you think that's a bit unfair? And Chidi's like, you're right, but people have a right to change. And I was like that at one point in my life, but now I don't want to talk like that. And I don't want to subject myself to temptation because I am devoted to Christianity and my religion says that I cannot have sex before marriage and I intend to follow my religion. And so she right then and there, Renee is a hot damn freaking stinking mess. Right then she's like, well,
do you think that being blind is spiritually connected?
And of course, Chidi, taken aback, is like, what do you mean? And she's like, well, you said it yourself that God brought me to you. So do you think that God made you blind in some type of, divine intervention to bring us closer together? Because if you weren't blind, I wouldn't even be with you.
What the fuck are you talking about? What are you talking about?
So Chidi's like, I love Renee, but sometimes the things that she says can be a little eccentric and we know that she's a little odd and she's a little out there, but also she can be a little insulting too. To say something along the lines of your God made you blind so that you can be with me, and if you weren't blind, I wouldn't be with you is absolutely inappropriate and disgusting to say a little bit. And I don't know why she thought that was okay, but she really wants everybody to know that she's only with Chidi because he is blind and she doesn't like her body or the way that she looks. And so she feels like she can be free, especially sexually in the bedroom with somebody who, can't see her flaws, but he can feel her flaws. He can taste her flaws. He's going to be able to, smell her flaws. Jesus. Good thing Chidi's not in a room with Loren, because I know he stank. Renee thinks that Chidi is misguided by his faith, and she's excited to get to know him a little bit more, and honestly, for him to get to know her, so that she can kind of sway him and persuade him to just be a free thinker without the constraints of religion. But Chidi doesn't strike me as the type of man that's gonna allow her to do that. So let's see if he can stand on his square with that one.
I wouldn't be with you if God didn't strike that apple down from that apple tree and hit you dead square in your eye. And then because of that injury, you fell on the corner of a bench and lost your other eye. And that is the reason why you were visually impaired. Yeah, I wouldn't be with you if all that shit didn't happen to you. You think God did that to you on purpose so that you can see or be with me?
You have lost your cotton-picking, apple-picking mind, bitch. So next we have Brian and Ingrid, and I'm not gonna lie, I was a little irritated. Like, Brian, geez, you've already told her a lot. She's already trying to process all the lies and find out if she still even wants to pursue this, knowing that she's told everybody that she's with you, knowing that she's already invested 2 years into the relationship, knowing that she desperately wants for her and her son to go to the United States. She has to now weigh out her options, right? And you've put her between a rock and a hard place. So she's asked for some time. After this ice cream date, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna spend some time with my kid. And what does he do? He says that he's fine with it, but he's actually not, because he goes to a florist, he buys her flowers, so he's in the flower shop, and the lady's like, get this, get this, get this, get this, and he's just like, do it big, give it to me. And so he drives over to Ingrid's house. How does he know where Ingrid lives? Because he dropped her off after the ice cream date. So he just circles back around, and he calls her and he says, can you come out? And she's like, fine. She comes outside. He gives her flowers. She's like, I love roses. And she tries to be accepting and understanding and give him grace. And so she's like, you know what? You can come in. And even though that was sweet and it was a sweet gesture, honestly, I really feel like Brian is manipulative. And so with people like that, you really do have to break apart everything they do to make sure that you're not getting played. And with that, I would have looked at it as, yeah, that was sweet, but I've already asked you for space, and here you are pushing that boundary to see if flowers are enough to make me change my mind. Let down that boundary boundary, and it isn't. I said, today I'm spending time with my son. Damn you. No, I do not want you to meet my son because that would progress our relationship, and right now I need a second to think. You done lied about everything, you little lying man. Anyways, Ingrid doesn't feel like that. She's happy, you know. She sees how he plays with her son. He also came bearing toys and gifts, and so the baby is happy too. And every mother loves to see her baby, her child happy, and so that warmed her heart and kind of got her on a more forgiving path. And I can't help but to believe that Brian knew that that's exactly what that was finna do. And I just didn't like that he didn't give her space and time. What about you guys? Am I tripping? Are you the type of person that if you ask for time, you expect to be given that time? Or are you kind of flexible and, hey, if you kind of make it up to me and make me feel better, I might bend the rules for you? Let me know down in the comments.
Me personally, I asked for some space. So you need to back up before it gets crazy in this piece, all right?
One more thing about Ingrid and Brian before we move on. Ingrid said, you know, Uncle Brian bought you a car, and I really want women to stop calling the men that you are sleeping with uncles and then telling that to your children, because even though you assume that they'll know the difference, they don't. They're children, so they see how you interact with this man that you're kissing and then this man that's actually your brother, right? Or, you know, and so it's this, you don't do that. This is my mommy's friend until he's more than a friend. It's friend, boyfriend, fiance, husband. That's how it go. Ain't no uncle, ain't no this your stepbrother. Don't do any freaky shit in front of kids and confuse them, okay? Thank you. So then we move on to Vea and Rory. So Vea is crying. She's packing her bags. They look like mine because I just throw my shit in a suitcase. Let me know down below. Are you the type of person that puts everything in, like, face stuff needs to go in your face container? I don't even know what it's called. That's how much I'm so unorganized. Shirts go in here, panties go in this little zippy part. Let me know if you guys pack like that. I don't. I throw all that shit in there, and if lotion gets on my panty liners, it is what it is. At least all the shit got to the destination. Thank you, Father. And so she's crying. She's upset. She's very scared. She's nervous, but she's also super excited. She's waiting on Rory, her ex-boyfriend, who Sonny, the guy that she's meeting, her current boyfriend, doesn't know is coming. And so she's waiting for her ex-boyfriend. Her ex-boyfriend pulls up, and they're really a cute couple. You can tell that they really loved each other and still do. He protects her, and so that's the whole point of her, you know, him going on this trip. And it's like, listen, y'all, you guys broke up because, Vea had a miscarriage, right? She says that the death of her brother caused so much stress on her pregnancy that she had a miscarriage and she lost the baby. That could break anybody up. The strongest couple could be broken up by that scenario alone, right? You have all this resentment and bitterness and you point the blame and doubt and different things like that, right? Feelings of sadness, whatever. So it isn't far-fetched that you guys just needed to separate and then maybe get back together. I understand nobody wants to spin the block, but this is extreme. You went from being with the love of your life and experiencing a tragic moment that broke y'all up to going halfway across the country to South Africa and needing your ex-boyfriend to get you to South Africa to meet your new boyfriend, the one that you guys fight all the time and the one that everybody in your circle thinks that you're too toxic to be around and it's too toxic for you to be in this relationship. That guy. So, okay. So they fly and they land and she is excited. She cannot wait to see Sonny and she needs Rory to hide. So their part kind of ends with him hiding in the airport because she doesn't quite know how she wants to let Sonny know that her ex-boyfriend flew this amount of distance with her to go meet him. They also have a bad history and they don't like each other, so this is going to be interesting. So the episode is ending with Tiger Lily and Adnan. Now, if you can remember, Tiger Lily is the 41-year-old millionaire. She is marrying Adnan, who is the 22-year-old, I'm going to say millionaire, because they finally get to have their wedding. But before their wedding, Adnan lets her know that it's pretty much all about him. He takes 2 hours to get ready and leaves Tiger Lily with 5 or 6 minutes to finish up what she's doing. Now remember, she can't get undressed, dressed, do her hair, anything with men in the room, so she's literally racing against time to get ready. He finally gets out the room after she complains, her friend complains, they start to yell at him. Finally, they get out the room, but Adnan is knocking on the door every 5 minutes. Tiger Lily, Tiger Lily, come on. The wedding is about to start and it's rude to allow 200 people to wait for us. Even though you made me wait, the bride, whom I assume is the most important person out of this whole equation, you made the bride wait 2 hours for you to frost up your hair and spray on the axe and do what you had to do. They get down to the wedding finally. Tiger Lily looks beautiful. Adnan looks amazing. Everybody is having the time of their life. Cruz is happy. Shay is happy. Everybody is happy. And the wedding is spectacular. If you can remember, Tiger Lily said that Adnan needed no help with it, and she didn't pay a dime for this. This was all him and I guess his family, which is why I believe that he comes for money, because this wedding was extravagant. It was like a festival. It was the talk of the town. In fact, he gloats that his family is calling this celebration the Festival of Adnan. And Tiger Lily's like,
You shouldn't it be the festival of Tiger Lily and Adnan?
and he's like, no, it's the Festival of Adnan. It needs to be the festival named after the man because the man is the most important person, but you're going to find that out later because now we're married. You're going to find out just how unimportant you're about to be in this whole scenario. Oh, I love a good love story. I tell you what. Cruz and Shay, her workers slash best friends, are having a blast. And they even say something along the lines of, even if they get divorced tomorrow, I'm glad that I was invited to the Festival of Adnan. I can't wait to see how all that shit unfolds. Until next time, you guys, that's the end of my recap. I will holla.